Good morning, sweet friends. Welcome back to another video. My name is Tawanda, and this is Tawanda's Blessed Life. And on my channel, I do decorating on a budget, DIYs, and hauls with a sprinkle of my green enlightenment. In today's video, it's going to be a compilation video of all of my favorite spring and Easter DIYs that I have created since starting my channel. So we're going to go ahead and jump into today's video. I hope you all enjoy, and I hope you all have a blessed day. Here I have some lace that I purchased from the thrift store down the street from my house. I paid $1 for it. I have some more fabric that I'm going to use, that tan fabric. I believe I paid 50 cents for that a couple years, like I think it was last year, from the same thrift shop. I have some Loctite spray adhesive, my glue gun, and I also have some of the cluster stuff and some eucalyptus, a eucalyptus pick, and I'm going to call it a berry pick. I'm not really sure what it's called, but I got it from Joann's. I think I've had it for probably like 3 or 4 years now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cut my fabric to size, and I basically just eyeballed my fabric when I cut it. I didn't like measure anything. I just eyeballed it, cut it, and went with it. So I'm going to use the Loctite spray adhesive, and I'm going to spray it onto the fabric, the tan fabric, and then I'm going to go ahead and attach the lace to the fabric, and then I'm going to go ahead and spray the back of it and fold it over so that it gives it a nice little a seam at the top. And I'm going to go ahead and just cut off the excess lace and then kind of just try and straighten it up just a little bit. And then once I have that done, I'm going to go ahead and cut it into a triangle. And you can cut this however you want. And actually, if you're going to do this project, you can also use whatever fabrics you want. You don't have to use the same ones that I use. You can use any color. You can just use whatever is going to match your decor in your home. I kind of wanted to go with some neutral colors because in my kitchen, I have been gradually switching things out and to black. I mean, I've had some black things in there, but I've been gradually switching more of it out to black because I wanted to do a darker wall in my home, but I just figured I would just do an accent instead with like my decor, instead of painting one of my walls a darker color. So here I am just using my hot glue gun to go ahead and attach the seams for the carrot. And if you notice, I put the lace side on the inside so that when I flip it inside out, it'll have a nice seam instead of having like the frayed edges. And I also let it sit for a while before I flipped it inside out. So here I'm just gonna just show you me flipping it inside out. And also I did use my scissors. I would probably suggest not doing that, but I didn't really feel like getting up to go get a pencil or go get a pen or something else that wouldn't damage it. But it worked out just fine. But see here, you can see I have a clean seam. So now I'm going to go ahead and stuff it with some of the cluster stuff. And this was given to me by one of my old co-workers before she moved back to Michigan. So I didn't really have to pay for much for this DIY. The lace cost me $1, and then that fabric cost me 50 cents. And the eucalyptus pick and the berry pick I already had. So basically it's costing me cents to make these carrots. So I'm going to go ahead and just tear off a couple pieces of this berry pick and a couple pieces of the eucalyptus pick. And I'm going to go ahead and stuff the eucalyptus and the berry picks into the carrot, the top of the carrot. And I also cut a couple pieces of the lace. And I'm going to just use that to tie around the carrot to close it. I didn't want to hot glue anything. I just wanted to just to just use the lace. So I took 2 pieces of it, 2 little thin pieces, and I just tied it around the carrot. And I also made 3 of these total. So once I had the carrot complete, I went ahead and I'm going to go ahead and just show you the other 2 that I made also. And then I used the extra fabric that I had left over from when I cut the triangle out, and I just cut strips of it, so you can see here. And I'm going to take 2 strips, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to glue those together, and then I'm going to wrap those around all 3 carrots. And then I'm going to take the tan fabric, and I'm going to cut a strip of that. I'm going to just make a little shoestring bow, and I'm going to go ahead and attach that to the fabric, the fabric that I wrapped around all 3 of the carrots. And then once I have that done, that is going to be it for this DIY. Like I said, these DIYs are going to be quick, easy, and simple. And you probably have some leftover fabric or leftover lace or anything that you can just use to make these carrots if you for, you know, probably next to nothing. So once I have these done, that's going to be it. I'm going to go ahead and move on to DIY number 5, our last and final DIY for today. We're going to go ahead and get started. Oh, and with the shoestring bow, I am just going to fray the edges just a little bit because I didn't want it to be so perfect. I wanted it to be a little bit rustic. But yeah. And I'm going to put these DIYs, all of these DIYs in my kitchen. I kind of just wanted to go with neutral colors. So yeah, here we go. We're going to move on to DIY number 5. I have some white chalk paint. I have my paint brushes, some water, and my sanding block. And I'm showing you here this little jar with all of these utensils and those scrub things. I actually purchased all of that for $3 at my local thrift store down the street from my house. And I also have some rice paper here. I believe I purchased that, I want to say I got that off of Amazon, and I believe it was on sale. I think I paid maybe $6 or $7 for it, and it is so cute. And I can't wait to use the rice paper. And then I'm also going to use some of the Pen Trade decoupage varnish and glue to use on the rice paper. So this is going to be my first time using rice paper. I usually just use napkins or scrapbooking paper. So yeah, this is going to be my first time, so it's going to be interesting. So I will let you know what I've learned and tips and tricks that you should use that where I messed up. So here I'm just going to go ahead and take my white chalk paint, and I'm just going to go ahead and just paint the areas where I'm going to place the rice paper. So my first mistake was, is when I put this rice paper on the first utensil here, I didn't have my camera on. So yeah, that was my first mistake. But my other mistake was here, where I am putting the water onto the rice paper. I just went ahead and just started to tear it instead of waiting. So if you automatically start to tear the rice paper once you put the water on it, as you can see there, you're going to have those little frayed edges. You see that there? So I would suggest that when you use the rice paper that you wait a couple minutes so that the water sinks in, so that you won't have all of those frayed edges like I did. Because what you're going to have to do is, once it's completely dry, you're going to have to use some sandpaper to sand those off, unless you like that look. I didn't really want the look of the little tattered edges from the rice paper. I wanted it to be clean because I wanted the rice paper to kind of just fit into the areas where I painted so that it would blend in, but that didn't happen. So basically what I had to do was, after I placed the rice paper onto all of my utensils, I had to wait for it to dry, and then I had to go back and sand those areas to make it to not have all of those frayed edges, so that it was to make it have a cleaner look to it. So once I finished with the spoon, I let it dry. And then I went ahead and moved on to the fork, and I just used the pieces from the 2 bunny pieces of rice paper. I just used those extra pieces, and I applied those, or adhered those to the fork. And then what I had left over from the fork, I went ahead and went ahead and added those extra little pieces back onto the spoons. And I would also like to say that I'm using this Pentrate decoupage varnish and glue to apply the rice paper to my utensils, and I actually did not like using that. I actually prefer to use the Mod Podge or the tacky glue. So after it dried, and I sanded it. Usually if I sand with Mod Podge, it doesn't, like, the paper doesn't kind of the tissue or the scrapbooking paper doesn't like peel up, but with the decoupage varnish and glue, my paper did peel up, so I had to go back over everything with Mod Podge, and then that actually worked better for me. So I think I'm just gonna use regular old Mod Podge. I'll just stick with what I know best when using the rice paper, but at least I've learned from this experience, and I just hope that what I've learned I can share with you all, and that you will not make the same mistakes that I made when using rice paper, or if you use the Pentrate decoupage varnish and glue, or maybe you may be able to give me some tips on how to use it correctly where that won't happen for me. So once I have everything completely done and it's dry, I went back, and like I said, I sanded everything, and then I went back and then I added the Mod Podge, and then that was it for this DIY. Like I said, they were all quick, easy, and simple, very cost effective. I really didn't spend that much money on these DIYs. I would probably say that maybe I spent a total of like $5 maybe on all of my DIYs, because everything that I had was basically, well, maybe not $5. Let me take that back. Probably less than $10, because most of the items that I purchased were really cheap. The items that I purchased from the Habitat, if you saw my last video, that was my thrift video, and most of these items that I'm using are from that thrift video, and they actually did not cost that much. So I'm thinking that I probably spent around $10 total for all of my DIYs that I did today. So yeah, that is going to be it for my DIYs. I hope you liked them. These were a lot of them, actually, I think most of them or all of them were my favorite, and they're all going to go in my kitchen. I'm so happy to have these complete, and I can't wait to start decorating. And that is going to be it for today's video. I would like to thank you for spending your Sunday with me, and if you like what I am doing, please like, share, and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. And like I always say, be nicer, be kinder. God will love you for it, and I hope you have a blessed day, and I will see you next Sunday. Goodbye. will be using 2 of the pillowcases from the bunny pillowcases from the Dollar Tree, some of the pom-poms from the Dollar Tree, and the yarn craft kit. So actually I ended up not using the pom-poms from the Dollar Tree and just ended up using the bunny yarn craft kit instead. And what I'm going to do is just take my glue gun, add some glue to the tail from the bunny craft kit. I'm just going to add that to the bunny tail onto the pillow case. And then this is the female one here, so I'm just going to go ahead and add that. And then once I have that added to the pink and white pillowcase, I'm going to do the same with the blue and white pillowcase. And like I was saying before, all of these DIYs are going to be quick, easy, and simple. And I will be using all Dollar Tree products to do these DIYs. So here I am just adding the tail to the male bunny, and then I'm going to take some of the ribbon from the Dollar Tree, and here I'm just showing you the Happy Easter ribbon, which is so pretty. And then I'm going to take also some of the fabric that I used from last week's video, and also some of the lace that I used from last week's video, and some of the white ribbon. It's like a velvet white ribbon, excuse me, and some burlap ribbon that I purchased from the Dollar Tree. And then I'm going to go ahead and just do a messy bow, which is one of my favorite bows. And then I will I will cut, and then I'm going to finish the messy bow off by cutting V-shape or fishtail at the end of the ribbon. And then I will go ahead and use my hot glue gun and glue it onto the ear on the female bunny to give her a bow on one of her ears. And then once I have that complete, I'm just going to set her aside and let her dry. And then, like I said before, I'm going to go ahead and add one of the the pom-pom from the yarn craft kit to the male bunny, to his tail. And I was going to add a bow tie, but because it's the back of the bunny, it just didn't look right. So I decided to not do that. So yeah, that will be it for this DIY. Let me know what you think, and I really hope that you all are able to find these pillowcases, because I think this DIY is so simple but yet so cute, and it adds some character to either a chair or your couch. And for pretty much next to nothing, a pillow case cover for $1.25, and then to add you know, a couple of embellishments, you can probably have this, you know, do this for less than $2. So yeah, let me know what you think, and I really hope that you are able to find these pillowcases. So for this DIY, I have that crackle that I just did. I am so excited about it. I have this picture frame that I thrifted. I believe I paid $1 for it. And then I have the picture. It's like a wall sticker, and it has 2 rabbits on it. They're attached, so I actually went ahead and cut them apart. So what I did was I went ahead and took the crackle that I did and placed it into my frame, and then I'm going to attach my rabbit on top of the glass.
I didn't want to place it on the crackle only because I think I might want to use this rabbit again for something else. And so, and then once I had that done, I took 2 tumbling tower blocks and a craft stick, and I glued the craft stick on top of the 2 tumbling tower blocks. And then I also put a piece of the tumbling tower block, I mean, a piece of the craft stick, excuse me, at the bottom of the tumbling tower blocks to create like a vase type thing. And then I attached some burlap to the tumbling tower blocks or to my vase. So I'm just going to hot glue that together. And then once that was complete, I hot glued my vase to my frame. And then I have this pick of peonies. So I went ahead and took 2 of those off of the pick, and I placed them into my vase. And that is it for this DIY. I absolutely love the way that these turned out. All of these DIYs will be going in my bedroom, on my fireplace. And yeah, I just love the way that all these turned out. So you'll have to let me know what you think about this DIY. And have you ever used the Dollar Tree tacky glue to create crackle? I wasn't sure how that was going to turn out, but I am so excited that it worked out for me. So yeah, let me know what you think about the crackle. For this DIY, I have 2 other rabbit crochets that came from Walmart. I have 2 of these pumpkins from Dollar Tree. I think we all have these pumpkins. I have some Bible verses that I have printed out. I'm going to be using some of the moss from Dollar Tree. And then I have my little lambs. I've had these for a couple of years now. These were a thrift find. So I'm going to take those pumpkins and cut them in half, and I'm going to paint them white. I'm also going to take the base of the crochet, the bottom part of it, and I'm going to use some of the antique wax on it to give it a coat to darken it up some. And then here I am tracing out my Bible verses. And then once I have them traced, I'm going to use my glue stick to attach the Bible verses to my pumpkins. And then after I have the pumpkins, after I place the Bible verses on the pumpkin, I am then going to take that cork scrapbook paper that you see there. I'm going to go ahead and cut some circles out to place on top of the wooden piece that goes, or the wooden base that goes with the crochet. Now I'm calling it a crochet, but I believe Walmart calls it like a, I think it's like a basket or something. I'm gonna have to look and see what they call it, because it's not, they don't call it a crochet. But anyway, so once I have the cork cut out, so there's my Bible verses, and then I went ahead and cut that cork into little circles. So I'm going to place it on top, and then I'm going to take my glue stick, and I should have just used Mod Podge, but I did not, or some tacky glue, but I was trying to get these done because I was trying to hurry up and get my home decorated. And so I just took the glue stick, and then I took some of the moss and placed it on top of the cork. And then I went ahead and used my scissors to trim it back some. And then after I did that, I took my Bible verses and then I glued those to the top, on top of the moss. And so you'll see me actually, I don't think I did that first. So I did this first. So this is a rose from Valentine's Day that my husband gave me some roses. So they were dried out and I was actually going to get rid of them. I was getting rid of them. Then I decided I was going to use one of the stems to create some crosses. So I just took some twine and wrapped it around my cross, I'm going to call it my cross, but I took the twine and wrapped it around the stems, and then I just tied them, and then I glued them, hot glued them to my Bible verses. And then I hot glued my Bible verses to the cork with the moss on it. And then I placed my lambs on top, and that is it for this DIY. I absolutely love the way that they turned out. I have these on my fireplace, and these I think they're gorgeous. So you'll have to let me know what you think about this DIY. I absolutely love it. I also, when I made those crosses, I took that piece of ribbon off of that egg, and then I used some of the Waverly Antique Wax to dirty it up some, and then I wrapped it around the cross. And I just think that I just love the way that this turned out. For this DIY, I have some craft sticks, and then I have some Bible verses. These are all Bible verses that refer to Jesus' death and resurrection. And so what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and put the Bible verses that I used in my description box if you want to go ahead and look at them. I will also be using the staple from the nativity scene from Hobby Lobby. I have this cross from like a past DIY, this forgiven wooden word sign from Hobby Lobby, and then I'm going to use some Mod Podge, and I have some of the Dollar Tree tumbling tire blocks. So I went ahead and cut my Bible verses to the size that I wanted, and then I went over them with some of the Waverly Antique Wax. And then I'm going to take my craft sticks and I'm going to cut them to size, and I'm going to use the Mod Podge to attach my Bible verses to my craft sticks. And I also painted my stable with the midnight blue paint. And then my cross is stained with the Waverly Antique Wax. Once everything was completely dry, I went ahead and started to assemble my stable. So what I did was I hot glued my Bible verses to the back of my stable. And then once I had it attached, I used some sandpaper to sand off any excess. And then once that was complete, I added my cross. And then I added the forgiven sign, and that is it for this DIY. I absolutely love the way that it turned out. I actually love the way that all of these turned out. So I can't wait for you all to see all of these DIYs. And if you are new to my channel, welcome. Thank you for stopping by. And if you're already subscribed, thank you for continuing to support my channel. I do really appreciate it. For this DIY, I have this little bunny bag from the Dollar Tree, some picks from Dollar Tree, and then I have this can that I went ahead and just painted with some plaster paint. I'm going to be using some matte Mod Podge, and I have that little lace bow that I just tore off of another DIY from probably last year or the year before last. So I'm going to start off by, I went ahead and cut the bag into 2 pieces, front and back. And then I am going to go ahead and start adding my Mod Podge to my can. Once I have my Mod Podge applied to the can, I'm going to go ahead and just start with the back of the can first. So I'm going to use the back of the bag first. I'm going to add that piece first, and that way I will be able to overlap if I need to. So it actually just fit perfectly around this can. So I actually want to use a larger can, but this was actually a perfect size can for this DIY. And so I went ahead and also put some Mod Podge inside of the can and went ahead and wrapped, overlaid the fabric inside of the can. And then once I had that complete, I am going to go ahead and start to apply my Mod Podge to the front of my can. And then I am going to take my rabbit ear, excuse me, I'm going to take my fabric. Before I go ahead and add it to the can, I'm going to go ahead and reattach the rabbit ears because they did come off when I was cutting them apart. So I'm going to go ahead and hot glue those back on first. And then after I did that, I'm going to go ahead and start to apply my bunny face to the front of my can. I'll go ahead and take those bunny ears and use those to cover where the fabric is meeting so that those seams will be covered. And then I'm going to use some hot glue to glue the ears down. And I'm going to go ahead and add my little bow and my greenery. And that is going to be it for this DIY. It is so cute. I love it. We are moving right along to our next DIY. So I have this picture frame from Dollar Tree. I have some of the Waverly Antique Wax. I have these little transfers from, I want to say they're from Prima. I've had them for over 3 years. And then I also have some of the black Rub and Buff, and I also use some of the antique gold Rub and Buff also. So I started off by taking the chalkboard out of the picture frame, and I went ahead and painted it white. And then here I am starting to apply my black Rub and Buff to my frame. And then after I did that, I decided I didn't like it, and so I added some of the antique wax to the frame and some of the gold Rub and Buff to the frame, and then I still did not like it. So I went ahead and just gave up on that and just set it aside. And then after I finished that, I went ahead and started to add my transfer to the chalkboard. And after that was complete, I the next day I decided I didn't like it, so I went ahead and just painted it black with some black paint, and I like that a lot more than with the gold. So you'll see me here. I'm not sure if I have that on camera. I don't think I have that on camera. So here I'm going to go ahead and start to add my transfer. And like I said, I believe in a couple videos back, I'm not sure if it's because these are old or if it's because they were just kind of sitting around for the past 3 years. I had the hardest time trying to get the transfers to transfer, and you can see here that it was pulling off of the paper. And so that next morning when I woke up before I went to work, I decided I still wanted to use that transfer. So I added some of the matte Mod Podge to it, and I just attached it with the matte Mod Podge with the cover still on top of the rabbit. And I went ahead and gave it, I think I gave it a total of like 3 coats. And this is what it looked like when I came home from work. And I just left the little blemishes. I thought they were the little imperfections on the picture because I kind of felt like it was okay with what I was going for. And that is it for this DIY. I love the way that it turned out. So you have to let me know what you think. So I have this glass bowl from Dollar Tree, another one of my cupcake holders, some more of my lace, a couple more of those flowers from Temu, and then I have these little wooden tags from Dollar Tree, these little Easter tags. So I'm going to start off by taking my cupcake holder and hot gluing it around the edges, and then I'm going to attach the glass bowl from Dollar Tree. And then once that's complete, I'm going to go ahead and take my lace and go ahead and start to wrap it around the top of the glass to create my little cupcake. So once I have that done, and I actually ended up not using the flowers from Temu, I actually ended up using some flowers that one of my sweet friends gave to me. So you'll see me using those after I finish adding this lace. So once I had all of my lace attached to the top of my glass, I am going to decide which one of the little tags I'm going to use from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to go ahead and start to hot glue that tag from Dollar Tree to the top of my cupcake. And then once that is complete, I'm going to go ahead and add my little flowers to my lace. And that flower that I took off of the first DIY, I'm going to add that to the sign, and that is going to be it for this DIY. I love the way that all of these turned out. Like I said, these are really easy and simple DIYs to do, and I hope that I am giving you all some inspiration. And that is going to be it for today's video. Please go ahead and click on the link in my description box to continue watching the playlist. Please like, share, and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. And like I always say, be nicer, be kinder. God will love you for it. And I hope you have a blessed day, and I will see you on Sunday. Goodbye. I have another one of those carrots, another piece of that greenery from the Dollar Tree. I have some fabric. I think that, I'm not sure if this fabric came from the Dollar Tree or from the thrift store. But I'm going to start off by covering up the bottom with a piece of the fabric. And then I believe I cut it into like a 1-inch strip. And I'm just going to start wrapping it around. I did fray the edges of the fabric. And then I'm just going to start wrapping it around my carrot. And then once I get it completely wrapped, and I just love the way that it turned out. This is my favorite. This is my favorite of all of the carrots. Actually, this is my favorite DIY of this video. So I'm just going to go ahead and just wrap it around, and I'm just going to use up all of the fabric, and I'm going to kind of like put glue on the inside and just fold it all down. And then I'm just going to go ahead and just start going around and like kind of like twisting and then just kind of gluing it down. I don't know if you can, I don't really know how to explain it, but I'm kind of just like twisting it a little bit and then hot gluing it down. So once I get it like I want it, I'll go ahead and put my greenery in it, and then I'm going to wrap it around the greenery just a little bit so that it goes a little bit above it. And then when I have that done, I have another piece of fabric, and I have some blue ink and some stamps, and I am going to stamp out "He has risen" and the blue ink on the on this piece of ribbon that I have here. And I'll just go ahead and cut it to size. And I'm going to take my hot glue gun and add 3 little spots of glue onto the back of my my wording here. And then I'm going to go ahead and hot glue it to my carrot. And then I have some pearls that I cut in half. And the pearls came from the Dollar Tree. And then I'm going to hot glue it. Like I said, I'm going to add a pearl, half a pearl to each side of my sign. And that is going to be it. I love this DIY. Let me know what you think. And that is it for today's video. If you like what I am doing, please like, share, and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. And like I always say, be nicer, be kinder. God will love you forward. And I hope you have a blessed day. And I will see you next Sunday. Goodbye. Okay, so we're moving on to my favorite DIY. So I have 2 of these little Easter bunnies. These are like candy dishes, I believe. And I was going to paint them, but I just decided I really like the chocolate look of them. So what I did was I went ahead and opened it up, and I went and took some rocks out of my yard, and I'm hot gluing them inside of the rabbits so that the rabbits will have some weight to them. Because I'm actually going to use these as book holders or bookends, as I would say. And then I just added some ribbon from the Dollar Tree, and I had the blue and white and like the brown and white, but I just decided to go with the brown because I just felt like it was going to look better. And so I have 2 of the bunnies. I went ahead and put the ribbon around both of them. I did cut the ribbon in half, and then I'm going to add a pearl to the one, and look at how cute those are. I have this welcome home sign that I purchased from the Dollar Tree.
I'm going to also be using the Waverly Cashew paint with the Apple Barrel Antique Wax paint that I mixed up, and I went ahead and painted the frame ahead of time. I also have this picture with 4 chicks on it that I printed off of the Graphics Fairy website. And then I have some lace that I purchased from the Repurpose Project a while ago. And I know I've said this before, but it was about 2 yards and I purchased it for 50 cents. I also have some brown cardstock, and I will be also using my a glue stick to here to attach the printout from the Graphics Fairy and the brown cardstock paper to the front of the picture. And so yeah, we're going to go ahead and get started. So what I'm going to do now is I went ahead and cut the picture to size, and then I have some brown paper, not brown paper, brown cardstock that I have. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut that to size also, and I'm going to put that on the back of the picture so that it makes it look clean. So I'm going to go ahead and use my glue stick and attach the picture from the Graphic Fairy to it. And then I'll go ahead and use my glue stick to attach the brown cardstock to the to the front of the cardboard. And I'll go ahead and place it back into the picture frame. And then I have my lace. And what I like to do when I do pictures, I like to put lace around them, as instead of just having just a regular picture frame, especially the ones from the Dollar Tree. I like to frame it out with lace. So once I have my picture and put back into the frame, I'm going to go ahead and just frame it out with the lace. I already have it cut how I want it. And then I'm going to go ahead and just use some hot glue and attach it to the frame. And that is going to be it for this DIY. And again, like I said, these are my favorite DIYs. I already actually have them up in my home. And truthfully, you can use these DIYs for spring and Easter. But yeah, let me know what you think, and I'm going to go ahead and just let you finish watching me finish this DIY, and then once I'm done with it, we'll go ahead and move on to our last and final DIY number 4. Okay, so we're on to our last and final DIY, number 4, and I have this little baby chick trim pack that I purchased from the Dollar Tree. I have my eggs here, my wooden eggs, and then I have a couple of yellow eggs. I'm just trying to figure out which one I'm going to use, that I also purchased from the Dollar Tree. And then I'm also going to use some of the lace that I have, and some of the twine that I purchased from the Dollar Tree also. And I took off a piece, cut off one of the little pom-poms from the chick trim that I had, and I went ahead and put that on top of the yellow egg to give it some hair. And I'm also going to use my black marker, my Sharpie marker, to give the baby chick to give them eyes. And then I'm going to use my orange Sharpie to create a nose for the baby chick. And then I'm going to go ahead and place the baby chick back into the egg carton. And then I'm going to take my lace and my twine and just wrap it around the crate 2 times. And then I'm going to also use some hot glue just to be able to keep it from falling off of the egg crate, or So as you'll see me here, as I'm wrapping it around, I'm going to put some hot glue in the corners just to be able to keep it from falling down. And then I'm going to go ahead and take some lace also and wrap it around. And then once I have it wrapped around a couple of times, I'm also going to take a piece and then just wrap it on the one side here like I'm doing now. And then and then I'll go ahead and put the eggs back into the crate. And that is going to be it for this DIY. I was going to add a sign that said like, and I may go back and put it in there, but I was going to add a sign that said eggs, and you know, eggs are outrageously priced nowadays. And I was going to put like, you know, $10 or something, because the price of eggs is just ridiculous at this moment. But I ended up not doing that. And so here you'll see me in a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and put the eggs back into the carton. And I just thought this DIY was so cute. My baby chick isn't perfect, but it's still cute. And I actually ended up making another baby chick, and I'm going to go ahead and just insert a picture of it. So let me know which one you like best, or which one you think I should just go put in my cart, or should I just leave the one that I already have in it. But I'm going to go ahead and insert that, and then that is going to be it for my DIYs for today. And so that is it for today's DIYs. And my name again is Tawanda, and I'm the Migraine Crafting Diva, and I would like to thank you for spending the day with me. And if you like what I'm doing, please like, share, and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. And like I always say, be nicer, be kinder. God will love you for it, and I will see you next week. Goodbye. DIY number 3. I have this tin container that I purchased from Hobby Lobby last year. I have this lavender that I purchased from Walmart, and also these 3 eggs that I purchased from Walmart. They were 50 cents a piece. This greenery from Dollar General that I paid $1 for. The Distress Oxide that was given to me for Christmas from one of my friends. And I have this bag that I purchased from the Dollar Tree that I used to print out. He is not here. He has risen, just as he said. Come and see the place where the Lord lay. And at Matthew 28 verse 6. And I'm also going to be using one of these little rabbits from Target. It's one of those hanging plant rabbits. And so here what I'm doing is I am cutting the fabric or the bag, and I'm going to go ahead and fray it on all sides. And once I have it frayed, I am going to take some of the Distress Oxide and walnut, and I'm just going to distress the fabric a little bit. And then once I have that done, I'm also going to distress the rabbit. And I would just like to say that when I print anything out on fabric, or when I'm printing out on fabric, I always use the Rust-Oleum matte clear finish. Oh, look at me, I'm making a mess as usual. So I shook the bottle and it felt like there wasn't that much Mod Podge inside of it, and when I poured it out, it just went all over the place. But yeah, so here I am just going ahead and I'm attaching the Bible verse or fabric to the tin can, and then I'm going to add go ahead and add that lavender pick. And then once I have that lavender pick added, I'm going to go ahead and add the greenery from Dollar General to the bag. And I would like to say that I did end up, after looking at the video, I mean not the video, but looking at the the DIY for a couple of days, I went back and I added some baby's breath, and you'll see that in the reveal, because I thought it needed just a little bit of white to go with the rabbit and the Easter. So I'm gonna, and the Easter eggs. So now I'm adding the eggs from Walmart. And then I'm going to take the little bunny. Here I am just trying to figure out which side I want to put him on, or put her on. And then I'm going to take some hot glue and put it on her little, or his little paws. And then I am going to attach it to the side of the container. And that is it for this DIY. And oh my goodness, it is so cute. I absolutely love it. It is my favorite DIY that I've made for Easter and for spring. It is, oh, I just absolutely love it. Let me know what you think. Final DIY for today, DIY number 4. So here I have this Christmas sign, these pieces of leather. I have the lace ribbon from the Dollar Tree, some moss from Dollar Tree, these little glass canisters from the Dollar Tree. I have a little sheep or lamb from Dollar General that I purchased for 25 cents last year. I have these Jot push pins. I'm going to use a Distress Oxide again, Mod Podge. I have a lace bow that I tied. I have a sign that says Silly Rabbit, Easter is for the lamb. And I am just showing you that I use the Rust-Oleum clear enamel. And I also use the spray adhesive to, because when I cut the fabric, I cut it a little bit short. So I just ended up adding just a piece to the corner. So I just attached it by using the spray adhesive. So I'm going to start off by taking the leather and taking a Mod Podge and putting it in the bottom of the frame, the picture frame, and I'm going to go ahead and start attaching the leather to the frame. And then once I have that done, I am going to take my fabric sign that I made. And I want to say that when I took it outside to spray it with the Rust-Oleum clear finish, when you're doing that, make sure that you put it on a surface that doesn't have any color, because I actually put it on a Target bag and you can see the little red spots on it from the bag. So here I'm taking my miter shears to remove the needle part off of the push pin, and then I'm going to go ahead and distress the sign. And then once I have it distressed, I'm going to take some of the Dollar Tree lace, and I'm going to frame out the sign with some hot glue, using the lace and some hot glue. So here I am just framing out the sign. And once I have that complete, I'm going to go ahead and hot glue the top of the push pins onto the corners of the lace. And then once it's completely dry, I'm going to go ahead and attach my picture I'm going to go ahead and glue my sign or my picture to the frame or on top of the leather. And then once that is completely dry, I'm going to go ahead and take my lamb, and I'm going to hot glue my lamb and one of the little glass pieces, the glass ornaments, to the bottom or in the corner of the frame. And then once I have those two items glued in, I'm going to add some of the moss, and I'm going to also add a piece of lavender and some of the white roses, the little white roses that I have, and a piece of greenery. And then once I have that complete, this project will almost be complete. And again, as I was sitting there looking at it, I really wasn't sure what it was missing, but I just felt like it was missing something. So here I'm just trying to figure out which direction I want to put the lamb in. But again, I wasn't sure which, I just felt like it was missing something. So I went ahead and added the lace bow to the corner of it. And then I went back to my craft room, and I ended up adding one of the little tea lights, and I took 2 of the napkin rings and I hot glued those to the bottom of it to lift it up. And then I ended up adding, I made like a little rose with some lace fabric. I don't really have any, I don't have video of me making it because I've just been kind of practicing making those. And so I just kind of took one and added it to the corner where the lamb is, with 2 leaves off of the lavender, and that is going to be it for this DIY. And as I was making this DIY, I wasn't sure how it was going to look or how it was going to come out, because I felt like I had made so many mistakes with it, but it actually ended up coming out really nice. So here I'm just trying to decide what I'm going to use at the bottom to stand the frame up. And here I am just adding the napkin rings. So I'm going to just add those with some hot glue. But yeah, so I actually think this DIY came out way better than what I thought. And it is not my favorite, but it's my second favorite of these DIYs for today. So yeah, let me know what you think. Let me know which DIY is your favorite. If you could put that in the comments, I would greatly appreciate it. And yeah, I think they came out pretty nice. Oh yeah, and then I forgot, I did add some of the walnut finish here onto the tea light. And I just think that it just kind of just made it all look better. And then I also had to remove the little glass ornament with the flowers in it, because I couldn't fit the tea light in the corner, so I had to move it over. So I had to pull that out. And then I couldn't fit all of the, again, like I said, I had so many issues with this, but it came out really nice. And then I also had to, I couldn't fit all of my plants back into the ornament, so I ended up gluing the greenery to the back of the glass ornament, and it is complete, and it is so cute. I do love it. Look at it. It is so, so cute. And the quote that I have on my sign, "Silly Rabbit, Easter is about the lamb," I actually saw that on a t-shirt on Amazon. And I thought it was really cute, so I decided that I was going to turn that saying into a sign, and it is just so cute. Yeah, I wasn't sure about it at first, but every time I look at it, it just makes me so happy. So yeah, let me know what you think. And once again, my name is Tawanda. I would like to thank you for spending part of your Sunday with me. And if you like what I am doing, please like, share, and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. And like I always say, be nicer, be kinder. God will love you for it. And I hope you have a blessed day. And I will see you next Sunday. Goodbye.